No, this is TCRG still doing push. I know it's confusing with the blue. Well, welcome everybody. We are getting warmed up here to play Terminal City All-Stars versus the Kansas City Warriors. The Roller Warriors.
Should be some great action over here on track 2. This one getting ready to start pretty soon.
My name is Dr. Jenna Fever. I'm going to be hanging out here with my good friend Ruckus Ron.
Oh yeah, we had a good call a couple days ago, and we're ready to do it again.
This is, of course, the Big O. This is my last game of the Big O tonight, actually, so I'm a little excited and sad all at the same time as I'm going to be heading towards the border right after this.
Yeah, I'm going to be over there for the Philly-Ole game on the next track. And
gosh.
that should be exciting.
I'm just going to say, I am wearing my We Are Philly shirt right now, so.
Lots of good derby action here at the Big O all weekend long. And I know a lot of people are getting excited for the after party tonight. That's going to be stellar. Everyone, you know, taking off all their pads and their battle gear and coming together and to be friends.
Nice. So let's give a quick rundown of who we are going to be playing on the track tonight. I'll start with Terminal City All-Stars. Playing for Terminal City All-Stars is going to be 11-11 Sundown, 117 Frankowski, 1223 Kim Jana, number 16 Palmer, 18 Mackenzie, 191 Nazdrovia Wild, number 31 Eve Hollows, number 47 Scarlet Bloodbath, number 52, Aveda Perone. 69 is Flower Plower. 77, Suggett. 84, Harvey. MG 42 is Griffith. And T101, Schwarzenegger.
All right, and for the Kansas City Roller Warriors, we will have 0, Peter Gabriel. 11, Barbarian / Animal. 118, Raina Payne. 15, Trauma. 219, Roadhash. 22, Ruth Canal. That's 22th even. 24, Bruise Her. 34, Accelerator. 47, Dr. Dread. 79, Mary Lou Wretched. 84, Tough Noogies. 99, Ram, and D11R, Rump Wrecker. And that's the Kansas City Roller Warriors All-Stars.
Nice. I'm going to give another little shout out to the doctor on the bench. Right on, doctor. Yes. We doctors got to stick together, right?
So how about Terminal City with that huge win earlier today? Really quite the exciting. There was a buzz on the internet about it. I know that a lot of people were watching.
I know that
feed.
everybody home in Vancouver is so amazingly proud of the Terminal City All-Stars. I'm going to give a big shout out to all of our ladies at the TCRG who are watching us right now while they set up for their home game. Sorry I can't be at your home game, but I'm so proud to be here with the Terminal City All-Stars.
And for Kansas City, I mean, this weekend really developing, seeing a lot of skaters improve, and one of those is Peter Gabriel, who steps up to the line right now to start off for Kansas City.
I really enjoyed the Kansas City game that I called yesterday, Kansas City and Philly. That was
fun.
One fantastic game. So I'm so pleased that I get to be here with Kansas City one more time before we go.
Yeah, very cool. We have our teams on the track.
Jamming first for Terminal City is going to be 1223 Kim Jana. For all of those people at home, Terminal City is going to be playing in their white jerseys tonight. Terminal City's in white. Kansas City's in black and red. White and red and black and red. They look really attractive right now, actually.
Yeah.
The colors go well together. They all kind of coordinate. It's like we're meant to be.
Right, now doing some warm-ups together, you know. Look at all the smiles and love out there on the track as they prepare for battle.
I like that. Prepare for battle. I do have a really quick reminder, actually. Captains, please turn in your MVP ballots ASAP. If you have not turned in your MPP ballots, captains, please turn those into administration because we would like to have a team for Team USA to play at our MVP game tonight.
Right, a lot of people are going to be excited to play on that. For the Big O MVPs, don't necessarily know who they are and get to play another bout this weekend. That has to be very, very exciting. And of course, Team USA, their opponent, what can you say? Just incredible, the collection of skaters that we have assembled here. Certainly celebrities, superstars of roller derby.
And how much fun to get to play with all the girls that you've been playing against all weekend long. Like you've played against them, you've thought, oh my God, that's a great game, and now you get to play with them as teammates.
Exactly, and the Big O, along with a lot of other tournaments, you come here for fun, but you got to get in there and play hard against the other teams for rankings and all these other things, but then to have a fun bout like that at the end, it really kicks it off before the after party.
So we are just finishing up our captain's meeting on the side of the track there, and then we will get this game, let's get this party started.
Yeah.
I know that was an easy one, but yeah.
I am expecting a good one right here. As the whistle blows, we are off to action.
Well,
Peter
look at that.
Gabriel with the star pass immediately to Trauma. Trauma on the hunt. Not lead jammer, of course, but in scoring position.
What a Terminal City move they just did there. That was fantastic. Kansas City showing them how it's done with the star pass right off the line. Kansas City able to pull in 1 point there before Kim Jana get out as lead jammer, calling it off. Nice. That's a sassy little start there.
Well, 1 point, could be the 1 point. And especially the way Terminal City played earlier, seeing that incredible defensive bout between them and Ole. So,
and that is going to be Schwarzenegger T101 up on the line.
And for Kansas City, Ruth Canal. Ruth Canal playing a little, creating her own block, hole on the outside. Ruth Canal, lead jammer before turn 1. Jammer out for Terminal City.
Schwarzenegger making her way around the pack. We do have Ruth Canal in the pack at the front, trying to get past Palmer. She does call it off. It looks like that's going to be 2 points on the board for Terminal City. Oh, one point on the board for Terminal City and 3 points on the board for Kansas. Kansas City.
So we will see Dr. Dredd step up to the line for the Roller Warriors.
We've got Nazdrovia Wild on the line here for Terminal City. I know, isn't it awesome?
Wow. Great name.
Dr. Dredd moving on up to the front. Nazdrovia Wild trying to push her way through the middle of those Kansas City blockers.
Nice 3-wall, holding Dr. Dredd back. Meanwhile, out front, Terminal City, lead jammer, Nazdrovia Wild.
I know, we've got 1 penalty going on for each side here.
Nazdrovia Wild scoring points as she laps the track 5.
Nazdrovia Wild had a really great game earlier in our first bout this morning, so she is pretty much continuing that momentum.
Dredd recycled, quickly back in. Nazdrovia Wild stretching out the front of the pack, grabbing another 5. Dr. Dredd breaks free on the inside. Great blocking by Roadhash, helping to open up that hole, and Barbarian.
Yeah, our Terminal City blockers doing a nice job of holding down that line. Nazdrovia Wild saw our jammer coming, and she called it off. Looks like she was able to put 2 more points on the board, so that jam's going to put Terminal City into the lead. 13 points, Kansas City's 4.
For Kansas City in this jam, we will see Accelerator, WFTDA MVP 2007, making a comeback here.
And she's jamming up against Veda Perone of Terminal City in white.
Veda Perone, very elusive jammer. She's been a pleasure to watch in the past.
She's got such amazingly fast feet and incredible determination. Like, that girl does not stop until she is out of that pack. And she is your lead jammer at this moment.
Really one of those jammers to watch for technique, excellent footwork.
Aveda Perone coming around, does take a nice hit there from Barbarian and is recycled to the back.
I tell you what, Barbarian has had a stellar weekend at the blocker position, and that is evidence right there. Incredible timing on the outside block, kind of slow down this scoring pass for Aveda Perone, but Aveda Perone cannot be held too long. And now at the front with Barbarian, passes 4-5.
And we've got our Kansas City jammer in the box with a cutting penalty there. So Aveda Perone now on a power jam. Flower Plower coming in to try and clean up, bump up that line a little bit, but Kansas City Warriors able to really form up again to hold Aveda Perone back.
Good defense up front for Kansas City, able to form a solid wall. Aveda Perone really attacking the holes one at a time, working her way through with the last spin move. 5 more, Terminal City.
We've got our jammer, Kansas City jammer, actually going back to the box for another cutting penalty.
Oh, that's hard to come out, go in and come out right away. But Aveda Perone continuing the attack for Terminal City.
And Aveda Perone with another 5 big points on the board. Fantastic jam for Aveda Perone. Adds a little bit more to the Terminal City lead here. They're at 33-4.
Wow, Terminal City ranked 35 currently, but you get the feeling not for long after that big victory earlier.
Actually,
maybe underranked.
Yeah, if you're looking at Flat Track stats right now, they've jumped up to 18.
Jumped to 18 in one bout?
Yep.
Amazing.
Might be the #1 team in Canada as well. So Kim Jana up at the front of the pack, gets lead jammer before our Kansas City jammer able to come out of the box.
Lots of fancy footwork and dancing there to make it through.
Kim Jana's got the toe stops, don't stop. Nice work there. Kim Jana through with a hole on the inside. She quickly takes it. Suggett able to get our Kansas City Warrior jammer way, way back one more time. You know she's going to be playing this pretty safe. She does not want to head back to that box again. Nice accelerator trying to push her way up to the front. Nice. She finds a nice inside line. She does make it out of the pack. Kim Jana right in front of her calls it off. Just as accelerator had her in their sights there.
Definitely. Good job by accelerator to put an end to that jam.
Schwarzenegger, it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but Schwarzenegger. Yeah. Okay, Peter Gabriel up on the line here for Kansas City, and Schwarzenegger on the line for Terminal City.
Schwarzenegger, you got to say it with an accent, right? Schwarzenegger,
Always.
quick work out before turn 1, lead jammer, Terminal City on the attack again.
Peter Gabriel caught behind that wall of Terminal City blockers there. Terminal City, their teamwork just has been great this game. I know that's just an easy adjective, but great.
Obviously, to take down a team like Ole, they had to put together some really tight walls, and it was incredible.
Yeah, you can just watch like the turning that they're doing in here with the blocking, recycling, making sure there's someone ahead of the blocker that's hitting the jammer so that there's always someone ahead of her. Great blocking, frustrating for the jammer.
Yeah. Speaking of great blocking, keeping Peter Gabriel contained, a strong rookie all-star for Kansas City. Got very, very powerful legs and has done good in this tournament.
She's a rookie for the travel team?
Yes.
She played a fantastic game yesterday. I'm really surprised to hear she's a rookie. Great player.
Yeah, good stuff. We have a lot of things. You think that Kansas City took some big losses this weekend, but really the team is excited about the things they're seeing, the development of young skaters on the track.
Schwarzenegger able to come through with another 5 points here, and she calls off the jam. Another strong jam for Terminal City.
Great to see a team on the rise here like Terminal City here on the track at the Big O. You love the surprises, the teams that come in and just kind of exceed expectations.
And we like being that team, let me tell you. We've got a team timeout here going on. Team timeout black. I want to give a big shout out here to Dairy Mart. We would like to thank our local neighborhood Dairy Mart stores. Dairy Mart, our family's best for almost 50 years. Is it official? I thought we were in a team timeout. Yeah, I think you should. Oh, yeah, team timeout.
So Kansas City with the timeout, doing a little strategizing with the coaches. Coach Dirty Larry and Suicide Snow Cone on the bench for Kansas City.
Just taking a look at the schedule, it says Kansas City's got quite a few bouts coming up here. Looks like they have a nice big season. There's about 4 upcoming bouts on that were listed there that looked pretty amazing.
Yeah, Kansas City, knowing they were ranked lower and thinking we need to develop, they kind of had a plan of attack to go out and play the top teams, and even knowing that if they were going to take lumps, that it would be learning experience. So it's kind of like when you play chess, and if you play somebody who's a lower opponent, skill-wise, you're not really going to learn anything. You step up to a grandmaster, and you're going to learn some tricks, and I think that's what's happening to Kansas City today. Back to the action on the track.
Nazdrovia Wild is our jammer here for Terminal City, and she is your lead jammer. I know if we look at Nazdrovia's stats, she's got lead jammer quite a few times when she's come onto this track.
Peter Gabriel started this one in the box. It was at Terminal City on the Power Jam.
Nazdrovia Wild up to the front of the pack, has to try and get past Ram up there.
All right.
She does get herself a back blocking penalty here. Back blocking for Nazdrovia Wild. Great opportunity here for Kansas City.
Multiplayer block on Annie Mall. She'll take a seat for a minute. Peter Gabriel, initial pass.
We've got Sundown hanging it out in the box as well too for Terminal City. So there's only 3 blockers. Kansas City blockers. Peter Gabriel comes up.
Kansas City
jammer. Yeah.
On the attack for some points here. Good opportunity to play some catch up. Terminal City with a huge 68 points right now. Kansas City definitely needs to take advantage of these opportunities.
Nazdrovia Wild now out of the penalty box, back onto the track.
Everybody in the penalty box is on the track again. That's the way I like to see it. 10 skaters.
Nice. It looks like out of that scrum, we've got Nazdrovia Wild emerges with 4 points. Suggett and McKenzie doing some work on Peter Gabriel up here, but it looks like Trauma coming in to try and clear up that line, give her a little bit of help.
Peter Gabriel continuing to attack the wall. She's tough, but gets recycled there, and Terminal City with another 5-point sweep on the boards. Peter Gabriel picking up 3. Got 77 for the team in white, 14 for Kansas City in black.
Lining up for Terminal City, we've got Aveda Perone.
And the veteran Ruth Canal. Definitely one of those double duty skaters.
Oh, looks like we had a star pass there, so that is now Scarlet Bloodbath, who is your jammer, who's really moved her way quickly up to the pack. Looks like she was able to sneak in 2 points there before Ruth Canal was able to call it off. Again with that star pass right off the front, getting your jammer out, getting your pivot out so that you can immediately get into a scoring position.
Kim Jana stepping up for Terminal City. Trauma for Kansas City. Trauma takes an inside
Nice.
line, getting low. Lead jammer, Roller Warriors.
Nice work for Trauma up at the front of the pack. Comes in quite hot into that Terminal City blocking wall. Able to get through with 4 full points. Excellent. Excellent jam for Kansas City Roller Warriors.
Trauma really a powerhouse at blocker and jammer. Can play any position on the track. Got all the skill sets, and you know that's a good lesson for skaters out there. Is try and broaden your what you can do on the track, make yourself valuable.
And we've got T101 Schwarzenegger, the machine, up on the line, jamming up against Ruth Canal. Schwarzenegger able to come out as your lead jammer.
Ruth Canal fights her way through, getting low.
We've got Flower heading her way to the penalty box. So one more penalty here, Terminal City. Looks like Schwarzenegger was able to pull in 1 point there before she called off the jam. No points, Ruth Canal.
Ruth Canal very close in there, trying to sneak in the back of the pack. Call off just in time.
So that does give us Terminal City 79 points, Kansas City 18. We've got just over half this first period left.
Again, we'll see Trauma for Kansas City.
And she's jamming up against Nazdrovia Wild. And we've got a 4-3 advantage here, Kansas City on our pack. Trauma really quickly off that front line into the Terminal City wall up at the front. Eve Hollows able to pull Trauma to the back. Looks like we're Suggett on her way around the penalty box. Oh, nice.
Trauma pushing through the wall. Gets that inside lane and takes it with a quickness. She'll be diving through for points. Excellent. Diving underneath the block. So good at that.
Nice work there for Trauma. That is her second lead jammer in a row, as she's the second time on the track, second lead jammer here.
And she gets in, grabs some more points. 2 more, 3 more for Kansas City.
Terminal City did a star pass right at the end there, and Griffith became your jammer, but was not quite able to get any points. We are lining up to do this one again. We've got Aveda Perone and Ruth Canal as your jammers. Aveda Perone in the white jerseys for Terminal City. Ruth Canal in black.
Aveda Perone, fantastic with attacking one side of the wall, then attacking the other side of the wall, and then finding a weakness and exploiting it very quickly. But with this time, a trip to the box.
I think if she's on her way to the box. I think she also got an insubordination call there as well, too. So she might be spending, looks like 2 minutes, two penalties there in the box. So here's an opportunity for our Kansas City Roller Warriors to get some points on the board. Ruth Canal.
So strong as she fights this front wall. Gets it. We'll send one of the Terminal City blockers in. Out of play to the penalty box.
Ruth Canal coming in for another hit. We had our Kansas City Warriors try to come in and mess up that pack.
Ruth kind of legendary in Kansas City for sending girls that try and face off with her face-to-face on their butts. She does that. Pack is spread wide.
Nice work at the front of the pack there by Scarlet Bloodbath. Did a good job of slowing down that jam. We did get it called off with Aveda Perone still in the box. So we are going to have our Kansas City Roller Warriors start in a power start. And we've got an official review.
And it's internet feed too. So did you know that when the zebras all gather together in the middle, that is called or anytime you have a herd of zebras that are gathered, it's called a dazzle of zebras?
A gazzle?
No, a dazzle.
A dazzle.
So why isn't that more widely known? I think it will be now because we're on WFTDA.tv informing the world that a cluster of zebras is indeed called a dazzle of zebras.
I could not be any happier about that. A dazzle of zebras.
I know, I saved it for right this moment to let everyone know.
Oh my God. That's
right.
brilliant.
They're so dazzling. Look at them.
I know.
All those white and black stripes.
Okay, that is our timeout over. I thought it might have been an official review earlier, but it looks like that was just a timeout. So we are again starting this in a power start for Trauma. As Aveda Perron still in the box.
Trauma taking on that incredible blocking wall, and no pack was called very quickly as she got separation on the track.
And it looks like she got herself a forearm call as she came out of that pack. I'm not sure if she was actually able to finish her initial pass or not.
So power jam, Aveda Perron, Terminal City.
Yeah, it looks like then Trauma was not able to finish her initial pass if Aveda Perron was up there for lead jammer.
And Kansas City will lose Barbarian to the penalty box. She will join the jammer Trauma there as Aveda Perron puts 5 more on the
Aveda
scoreboard.
Perron, I said it earlier, I'm going to say it again, she's magic. Did you see her just like spinning and keeping her feet moving and always pushing forward? That girl.
What a great juke move. Draws the defense to the inside, exploits the outside hole. Aveda Perron living up to her Aveda name.
Some nice hits at the back of the pack there from Annie Mall, but Aveda able to get through with 4 more points for Terminal City.
Could call her Aveda the block.
So we're starting this jam with both of our jammers on the track. We've got the good Dr. Dread on the line. And she's jamming up against Kim Jana. We've got pack advantage Terminal City as we do have 1 blocker in the box for Kansas City.
Nice wall in the back. You're getting spread out, but Dr. Dread still battling in the back. Meanwhile, Terminal City in scoring position.
Yeah, we've got Kim Jana out. Oh, nice work on the outside. Terminal City to be able to engage all the blockers there, and Kim Jana able to move her way through it with 5 big points.
Good pushing to try and break free for Dr. Dread. She clears the front. Meanwhile, 4 more for Terminal City. She'll have to call it off with Dr. Dread headed to the back of the pack.
I just want to give a big shout out to Scarlet Bloodbath for that move there. She was doing some sternum blocking, and then she turned around and gave a good butt check there to our jammer, Dr. Dread. But Dr. Dread able to hold on to that one. That was just such a nice move. So we've got Schwarzenegger up on the line, jamming up against Ruth Canal.
Schwarzenegger looking for that outside line. Gets a hole up the middle through the Kansas City defense, but Ruth Canal right with her. We'll see if it's always exciting when they're skating together. When are they going to call it off? Who's going to get what points? We're headed to that moment right now. Schwarzenegger calls it off. Zip, zip on that one, so.
Yeah, Schwartz trying to see if she could get a little smash and grab right in there, but not quite able to do it. 0 points for both of our teams, and we're going to set up to do that again. And as you can hear, we do have our good friends over on track 3 starting up, so we'll try to keep it going with you here. Hopefully you can hear us. So we're going to line up here with Nathrovia Wild on our line. She's jamming up against Trauma. Trauma able to pull lead jammer the last couple of times she's been up on the track, but so has Nazdrovia Wild. So I think this is going to be a really smart matchup. Nazdrovia Wild up at the front. Trauma close to the front. It is Nazdrovia Wild for Terminal Terminal City, Trauma takes a hit.
Trauma going down hard, holding her face.
I think we're calling for our medics here.
A bit of
Okay, looks like Trauma's going to take herself over to the bench to get checked out by the medics here.
Trauma taking a shot to the nose there. Appears to be some, we need a cleanup on the track here, maybe a little body fluids from the nose.
So we're just looks like, yeah, a little bit of a bloodied up nose there, as we're just going to be a little bit of a timeout. We're just going to find out who is going to clean up our track a little bit here.
An injury timeout here. We are glad you are with us on WFTDA.tv and here in the house at the Big O.
Just a little bit of housekeeping to take up here. I'm pretty sure you've heard, but captains, if you have not turned in your MVP ballots, please do that ASAP. We need to get those ballots in. So again, thanks to everybody who is joining us on the stream at home on WFTDA. Another big shout out to my TCRG ladies and gents in Vancouver. I know you're out there. Happy to have you with us. Good luck tonight. And don't forget, you still have time for raffle tickets as well too. We do have a raffle that is going on tonight. So those raffle tickets, our second raffle prize will be drawn on track 1 in the halftime of the Philly versus Ole game, which I got to say that Philly versus Ole game is going to be something to see as well too. That is going to be fantastic. So we still are in our timeout from that. We do have our players heading out back to the track, so it looks like we are trying to work out what's going to happen here because of that break we took.
So the track has been cleaned up. Trauma being attended to by the medics, and the skaters are back on the floor.
This is our third day of tournament. Everybody gets tired. We've all put in a lot of time here.
That is right, but we're going to have to gather up our energies for the after party later. Kansas City, this is their fourth bout of the weekend, having taken on Rose, Texas,
and Philly. Yeah, no, Kansas City's had a great tournament. They've just played some amazing games. Those are really awesome teams to be playing against. I'm very happy to be able to see them play so much. Again, coming from Canada on the East Coast, I don't often get a chance to see so many teams like Kansas City or like Philly play. So the Big O here bringing us all together has been such an amazing experience. I'm so happy to have been able to meet you and to see everyone.
Yeah. Kansas City certainly playing up in this tournament, coming in 29, and Terminal being the only team ranked below them to start with, but actually now above them as they came into the bout. So playing up in every bout and playing their hearts out. A shout out from Kansas City to the fans back at home watching on WFTDA.tv. We love you.
So we're just cleaning up our track up here, and then we are going to be able to get our game going again. Thank you.
Thank you. So we are back on the floor with Accelerator jamming for Kansas City, Evita Perrone for Terminal City. Let's get this thing rocking.
Fantastic. Both of these teams want to come in with a little momentum as we get this game going again. We do have just under 10 minutes, 9 minutes left in our first period of our game. Accelerator coming in on the inside line, has to get past Eve Hollows up at the front of the line. Terminal City able to get their blockers up in front of her one more time, while Evita Perrone still fighting her way through those Kansas City blockers.
Accelerator fighting hard, but recycled after great effort. Evita Perrone, lead jammer, Terminal City. I think that maybe we should try and talk a little louder.
Okay.
Because now we're competing.
Okay, so we've got Sundown over in the penalty box. We've got Accelerator out of the pack now. Evita Perrone still fighting her way up at the front of that pack there, able to get past those jammers and calls it off. But I do think, yeah, that's going to be 4 points in there for Accelerator as well. Accelerator able to pull in her 4 points before Evita able to successfully call off that jam. So we do have one blocker in the penalty box for both of our teams. Kim Jana on the line. And Kim Jana quickly out as your lead jammer. Nice, our Kansas City jammer now out of the box, out of the pack. Ruth Canal making her way around to the pack.
I don't think they're hearing us, so I think we got to take it up even louder. Okay. We got to be our own sound man.
Okay, that was 2 points then here for Terminal City.
Oh, good.
We've got
Schwarzenegger. Yep. And Peter Gabriel will be in this next one.
We've got T101 Schwarzenegger here on the line for Terminal.
And for Kansas City, Peter Gabriel, standout rookie. Schwarzenegger through lead jammer.
Nice.
Peter Gabriel getting the push, knocking down a blocker.
Yeah, Peter Gabriel starting with a disadvantage there. She did start with 2 blockers in the penalty box. Peter Gabriel up at the front trying to get past Griffith. Schwarzenegger able to come in with 5 big points. Mackenzie on her way to the penalty box, but Peter Gabriel out. And we've got Annie Mall heading her way to the penalty box as well too. So we still have 3-on-3 blockers in that pack.
Schwarzenegger digging, trying to get another point before she calls it off. Did not. Kansas City moving that pack fast, staying in the front.
Yeah, Schwartzy tried to pull in a little smash and grab. Not quite successful there, but still able to call it off before Kansas City had any points.
They turned them down some.
Yeah, you can tell now. Oh, we've got a new jammer up for Kansas City. That looks like it's a road hash.
She'll be going up against Nazdrovia Wild.
Yeah, that was awesome. Nice. Road hash trying to do a little action there on Nazdrovia Wild with a big push up to the front.
Road hash digging hard. Oh, almost gets the front, but knocked down with one jammer to beat. She is being drawn back. And right now, a knockdown block by Nazdrovia Wild, driving Bruise her Wild right now.
Nice work, Road Hash out of that pack now. Nazdrovia Wild up to the front, gonna try and get past Bruiser.
And they have to let her go out the front as the wall separated from the pack by 20 feet. 4 more for Terminal City, 2 for Kansas City.
Nice, Kansas City able to sneak in a couple of points there. We've got Ruth Canal and Aveda Perron back up on the line together. Oh, we had a star pass there for Terminal City. Kansas City saw that coming, but Aveda Perron got her star back, and she is your first jammer out, if not your lead jammer. Nice work there for Griffith being able to get that star back to Aveda. Aveda into the pack. It looks like we do have Ruth Canal out of the pack. 0 points for Ruth Canal, but it looks like Aveda able to sneak in 3 points there before that jam was called off. So we've got just under 4 minutes left in our first period.
And it's been a tough one out here. Some bruises to go around.
Happy to see that Trauma is back on the line here.
Oh, Trauma is so tough. Absolutely knew she was going to be back in. Not going to let a bloody nose get her down too long. So.
You know she's going to be fighting for it. She laid her blood on the track. She's out there for the win.
Yeah, she will be out for the Team USA bout later today.
Nice work in the front by Barbarian. Kim Jana was your lead. Barbarian did get in front of her and able to slow her down a little bit. Buffy St. Fury at the front, not quite able to push Trauma to the outside.
Oh, back block called on Jana, so a power jam for Trauma. She is recycled though, so that's a jam killer right there.
Not too far back though, the KC Rollers were able to get in front of those Terminal City blockers, make sure they weren't able to go back too far. Frankowski and Buffy St. Fury doing a nice job of 2-person blocking there. We do have 2 blockers for Terminal City in our box right now, so it is just Harvey and Frankowski out there.
Very important. Oh, we got some offensive blocking
Nice.
here for Kansas City. Boom, a huge hit out front.
Great hit for Rumprecker. They're able to clear out those Terminal City blockers and get their blocker through. Kim Jenna now back on the track, taking some huge hits. Kansas City's really got their blocking on fire.
Well, Trauma will take a trip to the box and back block. Meanwhile, out in front, picking up another 5, Terminal City, Jana.
Looks like a back blocking call here on Trauma, and she is heading her way to the penalty box. So a little reverse of what we saw earlier. And now Kansas City has their jammer in the box with 1 blocker, and Kim Jana with 5 more points on the board. Terminal City penalty bench is clear, so we have all of our blockers on the track, as that is 2 minutes of jam. 4 more points on the board for Terminal City. It looks like there was 2 points on the board there for Trauma before she made it to the box.
Terminal City in the white with 134 points. Kansas City in the black with 56. Almost halftime here, 1.5 minutes remaining.
Schwarzenegger going to be starting on a power start. One blocker sitting in our box here for Terminal City, so only 3 blockers out there to help her.
Schwarzenegger taking down the defense. playing the hero with a big smile.
Yeah, Schwarzenberger has such a wonderful attitude out there on the track. She's always having a good time. And
the action hero with 5 more.
Nice work for Trauma at the front of the pack, able to kind of step over those 2 front blockers. Mackenzie holding the line, but Trauma able to step past her to get out of that pack. And it looks like, yep, that's going to be 4 points in for Kansas City, 4 points in for Terminal.
Kansas City's bench celebrating that one. Gotta love the way this bench has held together as a team, playing for each other. You know, nobody's down on anyone. Everybody's really focused on what they're doing here. I gotta love that positive team spirit.
And that is the halftime call, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic work for both of our teams. Terminal City able to hold on to a lead there, 143. Kansas City in at 60 points.
So we're going to give you a break for about 10 minutes here, and then we will be back for the exciting conclusion of this bout.
Nice. See you in 10. We've got just a couple minutes left before we go into our second period. Got some stats to lay on you here. We've got some penalties, 4 going on for each team. Pretty close. We've got 15 penalties, trips to the box for Kansas City, 19 for Terminal. A little bit more spread out, though. Kansas City, we got a lot of penalties going on. We do have 1 player in penalty trouble with 6 penalties already. There's only been 6 players pulling in those 15 trips to the box, whereas Terminal, their 19 are spread out pretty much like 1 for everybody. We only have 1 player who's in a little bit of penalty trouble. Flower Power has 4 penalties on the board there, but pretty spread out for our Terminal. A little different when you're looking at who's playing the penalties. KC's getting all their penalties for just a few players.
And for Kansas City, some of those penalties are a lot of those penalties coming from the jammers, so and never good when you're in the box with the star on, other team on the power jam, and those penalties are evident on the scoreboard.
That's very true. Terminal City also able to pull lead jammer 15 times in that first compared to the 5 lead jammers in for Kansas City. And Terminal City had a run there of 8 lead jams in a row right in the middle of that first period.
So Terminal City coming in and saying we are stronger, more powerful, faster, and better than you think we are. Look out, WFTDA. Here we come. Terminal City.
Yeah, I was talking to our coach, Mac the Mouth, before the game, and he was saying that their strategy for this whole weekend has been low and slow, low and slow. Come in low and slow. Don't chase. Play your game.
Very nice. Obviously, some good advice and good strategy for Terminal City.
So
spectacular Evita Perrone on the line for Terminal City.
She's jamming up against Trauma.
Trauma recovering from her trauma earlier and back on the track, of course. Both jammers pushing the respective defensive walls.
And we did start this period with all of our players, but I think it's going to be Trauma with a cut.
Nice force cut track. She will take a trip to the box again for Kansas City. So we're seeing a little bit of the repeat of the pattern that got us where we are. Hopefully Kansas City can get that cleaned up and get back in here.
So Veda Perrone is your lead jammer. She's your only star wearing jammer player on the track, and she's going to get 5 points for that pass. She is on a power jam here as Trauma's in the box. Woo.
Well, skating into the pack hard. Bruce goes down, back up. Talk about a tough blocker in Bruce out there. She has really, really had to go to war this weekend with some of the top blockers in the world, such as Mercy and those Texas blockers. You don't even have to name one, just Texas.
Yeah, this is our 4th game for Kansas City. That is a lot of games to put into one tournament. Aveda Perone able to get another 4 points out of that one. Trauma.
And the second cut track in the same jam for Trauma.
Yeah, Buffy St. Fury with a little kickback there, were able to pull that track cutting, so Trauma on her way to the box. Aveda Perone still in the back of our pack here. Again, this girl is a magic. She's going to keep on pushing forward.
Tough Noogies will sit down in the box with Trauma. Aveda Perone continuing to attack the scoreboard. Do you have any idea how many points?
No, I didn't check. Aveda Perone able to pull in 5 more points there.
A 4-3 blocker advantage on the track as the jam comes to an end.
I think that was the one stat that I didn't pull out in the middle of the halftime there. I'm not sure how many points each jammer has scored in that one or in our first period, but
Kansas City's jammer in the box. Jana on the line. Jana, those quick feet, great lateral movement back and forth. Getting separation from Kansas City's pack as they bridge out, now in scoring position. Trauma back on the track, looking for an opening in this vaunted now, I can call it, Terminal City defense. All of a sudden they have a reputation.
Terminal City able to get Trauma to the outside. That was Griffith with the help of Eve Hollow's hips there, putting Trauma recycled back to the back. Kim Jana comes in, avoids a hit by Barbarian there.
Yeah, you gotta love when the defense is out there driving not just the jammer to the line, but the blockers as well. If you're recycling the blockers, they're not on the track, obviously, to create a block or offensively help their jammer. And we have Skater to the ground.
I think they're calling for the medic. Just a quick note for everybody at home, we are just, Kim Jana took a hit at the end of that jam there, so we are just attending to her right now. Yeah, no.
Recycling this Scarlet Danger with a nice hit, well timed, and turn one, sending Megan Hoffman to the back of the pack. On a highway held there to Beaver. And Demolition Barbie, initial pass. That's the end of the jam after 3 points awarded to Rose City.
152 Rose City and 12 points Treasure Valley. As Rose City's going to send Lauren Munch to the camera line. The Munch chance starts out in the crowd. You know who's jamming for Treasure Valley. Lauren Munch, lead jammer.
Doing a great job of pivoting her shoulder, changing her level, and bursting through with speed in turn one. Edith, though, trying to find some space in turn two. She's out there against the purple wall, anchored by Mercy. And that's a tough place to find herself. 5 points there for Lauren Munch. She makes her way around the outside.
Treasure Valley down a blocker now is Reagan and Alicia goes to the penalty box. UFO jamming now. She finds a clear space. She's able to break through. Not lead jammer. That's Lauren Munch with 5 more points. And now Spurs around the outside. Boys are dancing. Picks up 4 more for Rose City.
Once again, for those of you at home, purple tops are the Wheels of Justice, white tops are the Treasure Valley All-Stars.
Still time left to pick up your raffle tickets. There's going to be a drawing at the halftime of the Holy Philly bout. So now that we've got this halftime break, make your way over to the merch area. Get your raffle tickets. MVP roller coaster grabs them for grabs. We're going to take a 10-minute break, and we'll be right back here for the second half.
Okay. Never an easy moment to go through here as we are helping Kim off the track. I'd like to thank everybody for their patience. I know everybody at home sending out a lot of love to Kim right now. Thank you. Are they going to go into a couple minutes of warm-up after this? It's been such a long break. One of our other injured warriors out there, Lulu Demon, hanging out with Kim. Maybe they can share some. Okay, let's give a round of applause for Kim Jana, the magical, the wonderful Kim Jana. Terminal City just stopping to give Kim Jana a little bit of love as we go fix her up. She is magical. She's not going to be gone for long. And our head ref, Johnny Demonic, saying that we are going to have a little bit of warm-up here for both of our two teams before we start our game again. Both teams going to hit the track, warm up a little bit, and then we are going to play the remaining 26 minutes of our game. Two tough injury breaks on both sides. That is going to be a hard loss for Terminal City here, as Kim Jana, one of the jammers in the jammer rotation. They were only doing a 4 jammer rotation for all of the games on this tournament here, so we're going to see what Terminal City is going to be able to do to cover that gap. And I do have to say, I wasn't quite able to see. I saw Kim go down, but I wasn't quite able to see what that injury was there. So hopefully they're just going to take her and check her out and bring her back. Okay, that was probably the most Canadian warm-up chant that I have heard from a team. When I say please, you say thank you. When I say excuse me, you say sorry. Okay. Looks like we do need an EMT to return to our track before we are able to continue this game too. So we are going to wait for at least one of our EMTs to come back to the track.
Rose City's Wheels of Justice and the Treasure Valley All-Stars. Rose City in purple, Treasure Valley in white. For those of you that are at home tuning in here on track 3 on this final day of the Big O. I'm your Chef Craft and I'm joined by the elegant, wise,
Quick check of some stats here. Rose City is, we used to call it
Hard to put a delay into a game like this, get everybody ramped up and going again. Again, we are just waiting for the EMTs to come back, which I think I see over at the track end there now. So once everybody who should be here is here, we're going to get started once more. We have had a little break, so let's give us a rundown of what is going on. We've got 26-25 left in our second period. We've got Terminal up 176, Kansas City in at 61 points. I'm Dr. Jenny Fever.
And I am raucous Ron, maybe not so raucous at the moment after a long weekend at the Big O, but
A long, fantastic weekend at the Big O.
so the action getting back underway here on track 2 at the Big O. You're listening on WFTDA.TV. Kansas City in the black, Terminal City in the white, Ruth Canal recycled at the back of the pack by that great defensive wall of Terminal City.
Nice work up at the front of the pack with Schwarzenegger able to deke around on the inside, get out as your lead jammer. Ruth Canal up to the front. One more player to get past. She does get past Frankowski, and she is out of the pack as well. Schwarzenegger using those machine legs to try and get herself as far forward as possible. Looks like she was able to pass 3 players before that jam was called off.
I think we need just a little bit of energy from the crowd over there, guys. Let's get these girls pumped up on the track. Let's hear it.
Woo!
There we go. Everybody tired after a big weekend, but these girls deserve some cheers too here. Lots of hard work put in on the track and practice. Off-track training. Peter Gabriel for Kansas City. Evita Perone for Terminal City.
And Evita Perone, she is your lead jammer for Terminal City. Peter Gabriel trying to get past Suggett at the front of that pack there. Suggett
Peter
being
Gabriel
helped.
on those toe stops, really pushing hard. Makes it through on her initial pass. Meanwhile, Evita Perone spreading out Kansas City's defense. No pack called, and Evita Perone will call off the jam before Peter Gabriel can pick up points.
So that jam was off. Peter Gabriel just wanted to fight on through and keep going there, but that jam was called off with 4 more points.
Because they're back on, I think we have to go a little louder.
Great.
Getting back to it here, we have 77 Lauren
Okay, so we've got 2 Kansas City blockers sitting in the box. So we are going to have a 4-on-2 start here for Terminal City's advantage.
We'll see Tough Nuggies and Annie Mall taking on the 4 blockers for Terminal City. Very, very impressed with Scarlet Bloodbath, Flower Plowher, and company. So a tough task here for Road Hash. try and make a road through this defense without getting road rash.
Road Rash really trying to push her way through the front here, but that is Nathrovia Wild from Terminal City, who is your lead jammer. Road Rash is taking a tumble up at the front with our pivot.
So the Warrior Road Hash through the pack on our initial pass. Kansas City clearing out the penalty box, ready for some 5-on-5 track action.
That is going to be fantastic. And I just got a note here from all of our viewers at home in Vancouver for Terminal City. Terminal City sending out a lot of love from Vancouver going out to Kim Jana right now. So Kim Jana, I hope you can hear us. Everybody at home is really sending out all their love to you.
We'll see Frankowski taking on Accelerator in this jam.
Nice. So Frankowski coming in off the Terminal City bench to fill in that hole that Kim Jana left. So this is her first jam. I think this is the first jam of the whole Big O, actually, as the jammer.
Great blocking by McKenzie at the back of the pack, really holding solid as the caboose.
Nice work up there. Tough Noogies did an amazing job of slowing down Frankowski, but in her first jam here, she is your lead jammer.
And slicing through after creating her own block with the hip.
Nice job for Frankowski there, able to put points on the board for Terminal City.
Ruth Canal will step in for Kansas City again. Evada Perone for Terminal City. Bruise her Tough Noogies and Barbarian, the blockers for Kansas City.
We do have one player for each team sitting in our penalty box right now. We are having a 3-on-3 in our pack. Evada getting pulled to the outside of the track, making a quick run into the inside. But our Kansas City blockers able to get in front of her again, and that is Kansas City. Ruth Canal as your lead jammer.
Yeah, good to pick up those lead jams, but Evada Perone so fast, sitting right on her tail. Ruth Canal with her blockers at the back of the pack will call it off.
Nice, Evada right behind Ruth Canal that whole time. Ruth Canal didn't take the chance, and she called off the jam. I don't know why I really like the combination of Schwarzenegger and Peter Gabriel together. Like, it just seems like it's a good name combination.
Definitely. Peter Gabriel trying to lay down the sledgehammer here for some points.
Nice, Schwarzenegger really quickly hopping off that line, getting her feet going as soon as she possibly could to the front of the pack. Peter Gabriel on the inside, 2 lead jams in a row here for our Kansas City Roller Warriors.
So Peter Gabriel engaging the front wall, separation, they have to let her go.
Nice work there, Terminal City able to complete a star pass and hand the star off to Suggett. I think are we still going? That was a lot of whistles. I think we're done. I think that jam's over.
I'm just glad I wasn't the only one confused.
Yeah, I know they all kind of slowed down, and then you could see both jammers heard from their benches go because they weren't really sure if the jam was over, but it was. That one is done.
What a great ref crew we have here in the house. A big thank you to the ref crew on the floor. You guys are consummate pros, volunteers.
I want to say I'm dazzled by you all together.
It's a road hash. Oh, nice. Yes. Fighting her way through the blocks. Oh, but picking up a penalty. Nope.
No, I think he was calling the penalty on somebody else there. It was our white jammer who's got herself a penalty. So Kansas City, 3 lead jams in a row, and now they are on a power jam. They really took that break there to come together and put some power into their game.
Kansas City picking up some momentum here, and another blocker to the box for Terminal City. Make that 2 more, so stacking up the box. Kansas City as well sending 2 blockers to the box.
We've
No
got-
one seems to be happy about this, but Road Hash calling off the jam.
Not a lot of players on our box right now, or on our track right now, as we've got a full house coming into our penalty box. Terminal City's jammer did leave the penalty box before that was over, so we do have both jammers on the track to start this next jam.
2-on-2 blocker situation. Accelerator in black for Kansas City. Aveda Perone in white for Terminal City.
Yes.
Accelerator, toe tipping on the inside, picking up lead jammer, the former speed skater, making quick work of this track as she'll be on the hunt for points for Kansas City.
Nice.
Slices underneath, gets the hip underneath the block of Flower Plowher.
That was 4 lead jams in a row here for Kansas City. They are rocking it. Terminal City suffering from some penalties right now, as we do have 2 players still in our penalty box here for Terminal City.
Yeah, Terminal City with a substantial lead right now. 191. Kansas City with 78, but Kansas City with some momentum right now.
We are calling a timeout here. We've got a timeout for Terminal City. Mac the Mouth, our coach for Terminal City, calling a timeout. Going to regroup together. That is going to slow down the momentum that Kansas City had going up there. 4 lead jams in a row. That is the most they've had in a row all game.
I tell you what, all the respect to the coaches out here that work with the skaters week in and week out, attend those practices, travel on these trips on their own dollar. You know, guys like, Dirty Larry, Suicide Snow Cone, out here doing a great job running the bench at Kansas City.
Nice. Yeah, we've got Mac the Mouth on the bench as our coach, and we've got Brendan Lodge over there as well too as our line caller, an all-round good guy.
Takes a whole village to raise a derby skater.
That's awesome.
Again, big thanks to all of the folks back home that support these skaters, from the NSOs, refs, track crew, all the volunteers that put on the events and are at home watching. Thank you so much for your support of this great sport, WFTDA roller derby.
Okay, we're getting lined up again. Again, not too many players on the track at all. We've got 2 jammers, 2 blockers for each team.
Everybody getting really low. Looks like they're getting ready to start a cheer or something.
Yeah. Frankowski again now in the jammer lineup, taking Kim Jana's spot. She did get lead jam on her first appearance on the jam line tonight, but Kansas City coming into this jam with 4 lead jams in a row.
Ruth Canal playing some defense right off the line, trying to slow down the attack of Aveda Perone and create some space for herself to pick up lead jammer. That is 5 lead jammer calls in a row for Kansas City, continuing the momentum.
Nice
with
work.
17 minutes remaining in this one.
And it looks like all of our, we just had Barbarian hit the box. I was going to say all of our Kansas City blockers out there now, but we'll only have 3. Ruth Canal comes into the back of the pack, gets herself all her 4 points, and calls off the jam before Frankowski able to get in there. Kansas City chipping down on that Terminal City lead. They're up to 82 points now. We still have just over half of our second period left to play.
And Kansas City's a team that they've come into each of these games and then tried to play better the second half than they did in the first half. And I think they've accomplished that for the most part. Reduce the point spreads, play some catch up, work on some things.
I think stats-wise, you're definitely going to see Kansas City has really come alive in this second half of the game. Schwarzenegger, there we go, Terminal City. Schwarzenegger getting the lead jammer.
Foe attacking the front for the initial pass.
Nice. Ingram and McKenzie doing an amazing job at the front of the line here, holding back Peter Babriel. And it looks like Babriel is getting a forearms. Was that forearms? And going to be spending a jammer penalty. Schwartzy with a little jump in the front of the pack there. She is a machine. I love when they come in doing calls like that to their team. It's like baseball, like when they do a call when they come in. Schwarzenegger telling something to her team, which could be, I'm going to come in and get some points.
Well, I hope she has total recall of this terminating offense she's doing.
That was great. Nice. Schwartzy fighting past all 4 Kansas City blockers up at the front. Barbarian comes in, tries to give a little bit of help there to bruise her, but Schwarzenegger able to make it past.
Peter Gabriel fighting her way through the pack after the penalty. That was the initial pass.
Nice work there. Buffy St. Fury able to hold back those Kansas City players and get Schwarzenegger in for a last scoring pass there.
So Roadhash, who came into the tournament pretty much strictly designated as a blocker, you know, you have to adapt and adjust. And Roadhash, very powerful skater, and is trained really hard this year. You can tell it in her, you know, physique and in her overall fitness. She is really made her way into this lineup here, especially against a really strong team like Terminal City. We need those very, very strong jammers now fighting the back wall, but coming out the front, again, Terminal City with a lead jammer status.
That's Nasdrovia Wild able to get lead jammer. Suggett able to pull back Road Rash a little bit, but the KC Warriors stopped her from getting too far back, so not too much of a recycle. She's still up at the front of the pack.
Roadhash being taken down by Flower Plowher, aptly named.
Palmer doing some great blocking at the front here. Looks like Roadhash was looking for a little help from her players there.
Wow, really intense. Both of these teams are going to leave it all on the track, I do believe. We're seeing some powerful hits. We're seeing total focus. Terminal City is not letting up. Kansas City is not giving up. This one is going to be intense action all the way down to the end, so stay with us.
We had a star pass there, and now it's Trauma who is our jammer for Kansas City. You can see Suggett saw that star pass happening and immediately got all up in Trauma. Oh, beauty. Oh, it was a beautiful apex jump there by Trauma. No points scored, but man, oh man, it looked fantastic.
But it was pretty.
It sure was. Where'd you that? Okay, yeah.
It's not them over there that's doing it. All right.
So we've got Frankowski and Ruth Canal on our line.
Frankowski getting sandwiched in there. Trauma sandwich, and boom, taken to the ground on a big hit from the Team USA All-Star. Meanwhile, in the front, just great floating defense, incredible teamwork from Terminal City. We've seen it throughout the tournament, but Terminal City is really making a mark with the with these packs they've got on the floor in defense.
Nice work there for Frankowski. She came through as your lead jammer. Terminal City doing a great job of pulling everybody back. Looks like we had another hot hit there, and Frankowski's gonna get a back block penalty and on her way to the penalty box.
Bruiser taking a tough one there, but right back up as always. The legendary Bruiser.
Ruth Canal up to our Terminal City wall of blockers, and bridging starting to happen, but Ruth pushing forward. Nice work at the front by Griffith and Sundown, but that is 5 big points on the board for KC Roller Warriors. And a penalty for Griffith.
And Griffith will take a trip to the box on an out-of-play call. Ruth Canal, again, trying to stretch out the defense. No pack is called. Again, another out-of-play penalty, so a couple of blockers in the box for Terminal City. Frankowski without a lot of blockers. Her blockers are outgunned by Kansas City on the floor. Frankowski very determined to get through this pack. Gets the cut track forced by Bruiser and Noogies on the inside. She will sit in the box for 30 seconds. Ruth Canal will continue to jam, picks up 5 more for Kansas City.
It's hard work here for Ruth Canal, but that definitely worked in Kansas City's favor. Able to get themselves a bunch of points and put a whole bunch of Terminal City players into the penalty box. So if you're going to have a power jam, that's definitely the way that you want to play it. We've got just 10 minutes left on our clock here. Oh, so much happening in our penalty box right now. We've got 3 Kansas City Roller Warrior blockers. We've got 2 Terminal City and 1 jammer, and that is Accelerator.
Accelerator accelerating into the pack, attacking on the inside line, gets pushed to the inside, will have to come way back as, nope. That was pretty smart of her to come in ahead of those blockers that went back, knowing that those were not ones that she was going to cut. But that was a cut. The foot spinning over the inside line. Sometimes difficult to tell exactly where you are, and when you're spinning and moving and you're all over the place being attacked by terminating defense.
Frankowski back out of the penalty box onto the line one more time. We do have 1 player sitting, that's Griffith, sitting in our penalty box. So only 3 Terminal City blockers up there, but all of our Roller Warriors are up on the track for Kansas City. Looks like Frankowski hit down, but she does get up again. 3 points. Again, we are going to play this for a full 2 minutes as both of our jammers spent some time in the penalty box.
Frankowski coming in the pack gets hit by Tough Noogies a couple of times, and those are body-rocking hits. You'll notice that people tend to bounce off of Tough Noogies. She has 1 tough blocker now, forcing the jammer to come way back on the track. Meanwhile, Accelerator also pushed off the track, recycling.
So some nice blocking at the front of the pack there by Mackenzie. That did slow down Accelerator a little bit, but did not stop her. She gets a big old grand slam. 5 big points on the board.
And people continuing as we get late here and tired. Lots of skaters going to the penalty box for both teams. 5 more for Accelerator late in this one.
So I think Griffith got herself a penalty near the end there.
You know, I think it's wonderful that the Big O here in Eugene, Oregon is an environmentally friendly event. You know, obviously we've got a lot of recycling going on, not just on the track, but everywhere. Zero waste, all kinds of measures being taken to reduce landfill and to create a sustainable world, and we appreciate that from this tournament. We encourage all the tournaments and people who organize events out there to try and follow this model and become more responsible environmentally. That's my little soapbox.
And I would like to give the biggest heartfelt thank you that I have ever thought in my whole entire life to whomever organized the buckets of donuts. That is honestly the thing that has made me more happy than anything else in the whole entire world. Coming off a win and going into the room to find buckets of donuts. I'm not even going to tell you how many donuts I ate either, but thank you. You are my hero forever. Please let somebody know who organized those buckets of donuts so I can make you a statue of me holding donuts.
Wonderful.
In your honor.
And of course, a big thanks to the Emerald City Roller Girls. A huge thanks to you guys for everything you've done here at the tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Emerald City.
Woo!
Woo! Got to do our own cheering over here.
Yeah.
They've gotten lots of good cheers. So.
Did Griffith go? Did Griffith get... Oh, sorry, I can't talk to him. I think Griffith might be out.
A little discussion here.
Yeah, sorry, I think Terminal City may have lost a player there. I didn't see her leave it. there was some changes going on our penalty bench. The Suggett is now in there wearing the. So we've got Peter Gabriel on the line here.
And Barbarian has fouled out of the game. Filling in the penalty box for her is Raina Payne. And Peter Gabriel, not lead jammer, but in scoring position. She'll have 2 blockers on the track, whether as she comes in to attack, coming into the back of Plowher and company, she will pick up a 5-point sweep for Kansas City, trying to end on a high note here.
Nice work there, Peter Gabriel, able to put some points on the board before Frankowski gets released from the box. And it looks like we had a successful Terminal City star pass there. So Lisa Suggett, now your jammer here for Terminal City. They did not get lead jammer, so they did a star pass, which means we had no lead jammer in this game, and both of our jammers now in scoring positions. Smart work there by our Terminal City players. Good strategy.
Absolutely, and that's the word that I would use for Terminal City, smart. I think they've done incredible work here. We got Rumprecker with a back block. She will go to the box.
Yeah, that was a tough hit for Roller Girl, but she is still moving on.
Raina Payne driving and pushing.
Yeah, Lisa Suggett, one of our actually original Terminal City players, started with our league back at the very, very beginning and can sell you roller skates on her website.
Great to see a skater like Raina Payne, who doesn't get a lot of skating time yet. You know, she's definitely going to in the future, and see her out here skating and to have a great play like that one.
Woo, that was a long jam.
It sure was. 5.5 minutes remaining. Terminal City with 2:32. Kansas City 1:17 late.
I think we are in a timeout. I don't know if we're in an official timeout or a team timeout. I'm not sure. I think this looks like it's a referee timeout. It's an official timeout. Nice, thank you. So we are rolling down into our last 5.5 minutes of this game. This has been an amazing game. I think if you stay with us here on track 2, you are going to see another absolutely amazing game coming up after this, as we have the Arizona Rattleskates taking on the Deep Valley Belligerents.
Oh, and a very, very important announcement here. And skaters need to listen up here. The announcement of the MVPs will be made on track 1 at 5 p.m. So MVPs, track 1, 5 p.m. at the start of the Philly Ole bout.
That's going to be an exciting.
I know. A lot of people finding out that they'll have another bout to play today. Maybe for some unexpected, for some, maybe some will be disappointed, but you never know with MVPs. Sometimes
that's probably pretty good and bad. You've already played 3 to 4 games, and then you find out you get to play another one, which is, you get to play another game, but oh my God, you have to play another game.
Right, and it's a big honor to get in that. The Big O MVPs against Team USA All-Stars. We will see a matchup we've seen many times in this bout. Evita Perrone and Ruth Canal facing off again.
God, Evita Perrone giving Ruth Canal the eye there as they start this next jam.
Ruth trying to play some defense. Always a good blocker as well as a jammer. Been kind of designated to jammer position throughout this tournament. Tries to hold that outside line, does so. Getting separation, but now a big wall in front of her.
Yeah, it looks like Aveda Perone tried to get through the outside, but got herself a cutting penalty. She looked like she's just was on her toe stops on the edge there, but the ref did call it as a penalty. So that is Ruth Canal as your lead jammer here.
What a warrior Ruth Canal has been this whole tournament.
Ooh, Aveda takes a big hit there, but is able to stay on her feet. These Kansas City blockers really want to slow her down. They are throwing out some blocking at the front of the pack here. But Aveda, again, use those magical powers that she has to just keep going. Stay on your feet, keep pushing forward, make it out of the pack.
Ruth Canal calling it off after picking up 3 more for Kansas City, just chipping away on the scoreboard. 4 minutes remaining in the bout as Kansas City sends out Accelerator.
Accelerator and Schwarzenegger. Nice, good combination. We do have one Terminal City blocker sitting in our penalty box. Accelerator tries to find the inside line, but finds some blockers and moves over to...
Knocked out of bounds a couple times, but quickly staying back in. Oh, falls to the inside, almost made it through. Oh, she
nice.
did. No, the skates stayed in. She's got a big smile.
That
Like, all
was-
right, that's good.
That was fantastic. I loved how pleased she was with herself as she stayed in that game. Schwarzenegger now out of the pack as
Lead
well,
jam-
too. Yes.
Accelerator coming in fast, takes a bump, but stays in bounds. Big smiles from the bench over there for Kansas City. This tournament, in terms of track playing time, is almost done. And it has been a tough road. They are still standing. Their heads are still up.
This is the last game for both of these teams then. If Kansas City doesn't have any more games, this is Terminal City's last game as well too. So a nicely played tournament by all players. My last game as well too here at the Big O. Oh,
Road Hash coming in hard against a turnaround blocker. She will stay on the track and pick up a lead jammer. Road Hash.
yeah, it looks like Kim McKenzie got the penalty there for that hit.
Road Hash with a great move. Juke move out the front. Kansas City trying to finish strong with the clock winding down to 2 minutes.
Nice. Sundown trying to give a little bit of a shoulder hit there, but hip hit there, but Road Hash able to avoid it.
My goodness, we're seeing something we haven't seen from Road Hash before. Holy wowza. That was great. She comes down and says hello to the photographer. And I would definitely like to take that segue to say a big thank you to all the photographers here in the house dedicating their time and volunteer efforts for this tournament. All the girls appreciate you. You know, that's who ought to give them a big round of applause. But
And I really hope you got that shot too. That would be a bit of an extreme close-up if that one pulled in.
so we're ending on an exciting note here for Kansas City, you know, maybe seeing some hope for star jammers of the future that we didn't know we had when we came into the tournament, like Peter Baberl and Road Hash.
Yeah, I'm still surprised to hear that they are not veteran jammers, because both of those jammers have put in such an amazing game for Kansas City, especially when I was calling the game yesterday. I'm finding out that they're not.
I tell you what, those two had no idea whether or not they would play as jammer in this tournament at all coming in. So it was kind of an open lineup with a lot of questions.
Well, if my opinion means everything, keep them on the jammer rotation, because they've had fantastic tournaments.
Aveda Perone, speaking of fantastic, how about Aveda Perone? Every team would like to have this skater. I don't think there's a team in the WFTDA she wouldn't start on. So Terminal City very deep at jammer, very deep in the blocker rotation, and incredible teamwork. I cannot say it enough by them, and it's evident on the track and the scoreboard as they are going to defeat Kansas City in this one by a significant margin.
Aveda Perone picking up 4 more points in that jam. Ruth Canal also picking up 4 points at the front there. Our Terminal City blockers trying to shake it up a little bit in that line, get a Vita Perone through with a few more points.
Period clock now at 0, so this one will be over either when the time, on time, it will be over when the jam clock runs out in 22 seconds. 22 seconds.
A beautiful jam anyways for Vita Perone. She did a great job putting up a whole bunch of points. Ruth Canal gonna have to finish off this period by herself up there. Nice. And she's gonna do it with 5 big points.
Ruth Canal, Trauma, the Warriors all fighting valiantly, but Terminal City coming up big.
Nice work again for Terminal City. They are coming in 3-4-3 in this tournament here. Fantastic work for them. That is a 249-146 score. What an amazing game. What an amazing tournament Terminal City has had. Again, we want to give a big Terminal City love and shout out to our injured warrior, Kim Jana. We know you're going to be fantastic. But ladies and gentlemen, Terminal City All-Stars!